drops, you can get salves, you can get all kinds of different candies and stuff. But the thing is that they all still have amounts of THC in them, and they're not, they're not untrace, they're not under 1%. They're, around 3. And so, unfortunately, or 0.3, I'm sorry. So, fortunate, no, above 1%. Sorry. So, anyways, they have this in there still. So, again, I go back out on my search, and for the 5 years that all of this happens and I get sick, in 2012 I even get sicker because I'm going to get my gallbladder taken out, and it explodes, and it puts me into such toxicity that I had about a 10% chance of survival. And I ended up being, rushed into surgery, and it had taken out my gallbladder, my fluids, and then 3/4 of my stomach and about 2.5 feet of my upper intestine. And so at this point in time, now I'm just sick, and I've lost pretty much all of my energy and all of my will and all of my drive. And I'm going through the motions literally every day at this point in time. And so all of a sudden, I'm laying in bed one night watching TV, because that's pretty much what I do at this point in time. And my husband says, "Hey, there's this company that has this product that has CBDs in it," and I'm like, "Okay." And he was talking about how it's got more just CBDs, pure CBDs, and I was like, "Well, what is this?" Because he knows that I can't take the THC products. And he tells me, this company is called Kannaway. And I was like, "Well, let's order some of their products." And he said, "Well, their product's not available yet." And I said, "Well, then why is it out?" And he goes, "You aren't going to believe this, but it's a network marketing company." And I said, I'm like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Let's do this." And so I was, at that point in time, just because of the fact that I wanted the product so bad, I was all over the fact that we could not only get the product, but we could make money getting the product out to people who need to know about the CBDs, and they need to know about the healthy side of hemp. And the thing is that working for Kannaway, there's one thing I can definitely say: you cannot make medical claims on their products. And here's the thing: Kannaway is basically a wellness company where their CBDs are put out there for wellness purposes. It's a hemp lifestyle company with a focus on nutritional wellness, okay, with products that contain CBD-rich hemp oil. And so the way that you have to look at them whenever you're discussing any type of things, because a lot of people at this point in time want to jump up and they want to say, "Yay, CBD, this is what they've done for me, and they've helped with this and cured that and this, that, and the other." And you just can't do that with Kannaway, because their product is not medicinal. Their product is to help people out there that cannot get CBDs into their body any other way. And they also brought it to where you can use it across all 50 states legally now. So I noticed this, and I am just absolutely elated, Clayton. It brought life back into my existence, because I just was not, I was just existing, literally. I didn't have any drive, any goal, any fire. And Kannaway brought that back to my life, because now, just like you, I'm out on a mission to tell people that hemp has a use, and the use is so much far higher than what they understand at this point in time. And I believe they are starting a movement that is literally going to be, just epic, absolutely epic. And I feel like I'm so privileged to be a part of it now, because I joined for the product. But now that there's a movement behind it, and there's people that are in, and they have the same ideas as I do, and they have the same goals and aspirations, it's amazing, because I've found this whole new support system that has just given me the platform to say, you know what, I can go out and talk about hemp to everybody, and I have this amazing company that's behind me saying, you know what, this is what we're doing, this is what we believe in. And, it's incredible, just to be able to be a part of this awesome movement. And it brought me to you, which is awesome, because, saying you believe in literally everything that I've actually studied and I've actually researched. And, with the two people that are on with us today, Josh Roselle and Seth Frazier, they're probably two of the most amazing people I have met in this movement. And, I am so privileged to have gotten to meet them, know them, to make them a part of my life, and for them to accept me, because, I work with just such amazing, amazing people now, and it's crazy, because I can actually have a voice and say, hey, I want to be able to tell everybody about hemp and about Kannaway and about how amazing they are and how pure their products are. And, and now they have a salve out and a vape pen. And with these quotes, I am actually, for the first time ever, able to get CBDs into my body without having a horrible allergic reaction. And I am absolutely so blessed that this company has done something to actually help enrich my life because of that.
Well, you certainly have my condolences about your allergy. I don't have any allergies, and I've been, I felt kind of the same way that you feel about Kannaway. I felt that 50 years ago. 50 years ago, when I went out to California and smoked, well, actually, I smoked my first joint before I ever went to California. and I did it in Texas, where it was a potential 99-year sentence to get caught with a joint. Matter of fact, I met people in the joint that had done 20 years in prison for having a joint on them, smoking pot. And I wrote books in prison in Texas 45 years ago about a world in the future when that kind of thing couldn't happen. When marijuana and cannabis and anything else, all laws against victimless crimes were abolished in my science fiction world. And that's starting to happen now. I helped start Normal 40 some odd years ago. I helped start High Times magazine. I financed Jack Harrow while he was compiling Emperor Wears No Clothes. So I've been in the movement for a long time. And to me, it's like watching my dreams come true. What's happening now? I was kind of excited.
Isn't it amazing?
I was kind of excited in Arizona when we passed medical marijuana. And I said, wow, man, maybe for the first time in 45 years, I won't be a criminal anymore.
Right?
But it didn't work out quite that way, because guess what? I'm too healthy to qualify for medical marijuana, because I don't use doctors. I don't need doctors. I still got my appendix. I still got my tonsils, and you ain't touching me. You ain't touching my body. I heal myself, thank you anyway. And one of the reasons I'm so healthy is I've been smoking pot for 45 years. I've been ingesting the everything about the hemp plant and promoting it and telling people exactly what you're finding out. This is the plant of renown the Bible talks about. We've used it. It's been a part of man for thousands of years, and the only thing some of the religions have done is try to keep it for the priests, keep it for the higher ups, so we won't be awakened to our own potential by using this plant, by absorbing this plant, by being having this plant be a part of us and our lifestyles. You're lucky to be living in Colorado right now, and I've added. Josh, are you with us?
Clayton, there is one thing that I did want to tell you, and I don't know if you know this, which I'm assuming that you probably do, but did you know that there's actually a law that's been written, and it actually states the only plant that is illegal to grow in all 50 states, and this is, you can even go find this on the law book. The only thing, you know how they have the different strands, the hemp, and then there's the marijuana. Well, in the marijuana family, there are two different types. There's an indica and there's a sativa.
Yes.
And did you know that there's actually written on the law book that the only strand that's illegal to grow is the sativa? It actually states that the indica is legal to grow in all 50 states. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
the only thing that is written, and it is in law, is in the code, that the sativa strand of the marijuana plant is the only one that is actually illegal to grow. The indica, however, is legal to grow, and the reason being is because the indica is the one out of those two that have the lesser THC in it. They have the more CBD. And so if you go and you grow indica, that's actually illegal to do. And I actually have some friends of mine that are living in Oregon and Washington that have decided that they're going to start growing the indica, and they even have the law printed out. They have gone to the sheriff's office, and they have talked to the sheriff, and they have said, this is where it is on the law book. This specifically says that the sativa strand is the one that's illegal. We will be growing indica, and you cannot take us to jail for it because it is legal. And that's sad, too.
That's a wonderful thing. The indica still provides a potent strain of THC, doesn't it?
It sure does.
All right, let's see.
It sure does.
Josh, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, Josh. Josh Dazelle.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well here, enjoying my conversation with Amy. I've got you up, and I believe I've also got Seth. Seth, are you out there with us too?
I'm with you, Clayton.
All right, guys. Welcome here. Are you both from Colorado? Tell you what, Josh, talk to me. Tell me about you. Tell me how you got involved in this, and why everybody else should be involved in this.
Wow, Clayton, thank you for having me on this morning. I'm honored. I actually know who you are. I've dealt a lot with NORML over my life. I'm actually a former medical marijuana co-op director in Seattle, and I've also been prescribed cannabis for 15 years there through their systems in the Seattle area. I live in Florida currently, but my heart and everything I've ever known about cannabis is all just came from Seattle and what I've done up there. I actually worked for a like a maintenance company for maintenance, for landscaping and stuff like that. So I've learned all about plant and tree identification, insect identification, agriculture, horticulture, anything you could possibly imagine. But it all just culminated to this beautiful, wondrous plant that was able to get me past my medical problems, just like anybody else who's experienced it.
I have to tell you, I'm not a big fan of medical marijuana. I don't like the idea of having to go to a doctor that's working for the drug companies, that's working for Big Pharma, and pay him to get a prescription for something God gave me. That's
I
not
agree.
me.
Actually, I'll tell you honestly, Clayton, when I came out of the hospital, I got real sick in 1999. It nearly took my life, and they had me on all sorts of blood pressure medication and pain medication and everything else in the world you could possibly imagine. And it was actually a recommendation to cannabis, which is what stopped all that. So that recommendation to cannabis was really, then that was way before it was allowed. It was way before it was socially acceptable. Like Amy was saying, there was still a lot of voodoo and hoodoo around that. And so, just the chastising from the family that I had, everything that I've been through in my entire life, but I stuck with it. I really believed it, and now we've been able to turn it into this, this wonderful thing. I've been involved in Kannaway since day basically one, and I believed in it the whole time. And so for me, I'm able to, just like you're saying, and that's the reason why I wanted to come on this morning, is one of my main things about hemp is that, I know someone currently in Washington who gets CBD prescribed from his doctor. And, and that's something that, some people do know about. This could potentially save people prescription costs of gas money, costs of going here, costs of going there. As far as for me, I definitely am involved with trying to save people the money aspect of this. I don't want it to go to the pharmacy all day, the people's hands who really need it.
Well, folks, you might write this down. If you go to www.http://thebuzzlaunch.com, my sponsor ID is 1794434. I have had people that put me into this because they know the reach I've got. They know I've been doing this radio show for well over 20 years. And you need this, folks. This is the again, it's just one part of cannabis. I mean, this is for your health. This is for your well-being. Remember, doctors don't make any money off of you if you're well, so they ain't going to be promoting this too much. And I've been doing this for a long time. We used to go to a little theater there in Dallas about midnight and watch a Rocky Horror Picture Show. And
oh, love you, Clayton. I love that.
and we'd watch Reefer Madness, smoking a joint up there in the balcony of the theater, laughing our ass off at how silly these propagandists
we should do that
were.
sometime.
Isn't that awesome? Clayton, we gotta go do that sometime. I agree with Josh.
Well,
that's awesome.
This is propaganda, and if you ever wonder how William Randolph Hearst got that big castle up there on the mountain there in California, it was his part in demonizing hemp. Because why? Well, because he wanted to cut down those redwoods. He wanted to control those logging companies. And the first 100 years, for 100 years, the Encyclopedia Britannica was printed on hemp paper. Our flag was made out of hemp. Our blue jeans were made out of hemp. Our Declaration of Independence was written on hemp. Our Constitution was written on hemp paper. And folks, they stole that from you. And they did it by trying to demonize people like me. They tried to demonize the hippies. Well, we used to go to the park there in Dallas and protect the hippies from the jocks. Hey, football boy, come here. We got long hair. We smoke pot. Want to mess with us? I'm an old biker, and I've been smoking this and using this my whole life practically, and that's why I'm too healthy for medical marijuana.
Nice.
I still got my appendix. I still got my tonsils, and I don't need a doctor. Thank you. I just spent.
Clayton, taking just to take Kannaway out of it for just a second, because obviously we can't make any medical claims when it comes to Kannaway. But taking Kannaway out of it for just a moment, I'll tell you, when they decided that they were going to take away marijuana and they were going to demonize it, it was because they knew that our bodies needed the CBDs that are in the plant, in the hemp plant, for one reason and one reason only. There's actually part of the cell structure that we are born with that has the CBDs in it, and they also have a vitamin called B17, which nobody hardly knows about, the vitamin B17. And vitamin B17 is just as important for you as the hemp, as the CBD. And what ends up happening is that they make up a part of your cell structure that actually helps fight off diseases and illnesses, like the diseases and illnesses everybody's getting, the cancers and the tumors and the epilepsy seizures, the bigger diseases. And the thing is that when you get that in your body, it's what helps your body to fight off these things. Just like calcium helps your bones grow stronger, well, guys, the CBDs help you to not, the CBDs and even parts of THC help you to not get the diseases and illnesses that are out there, the cancers and the seizures and the epilepsy and all of these things. If you start from the beginning, when you were born, and you don't have that deficiency, then you are going to be very unlikely to be getting this because of the fact that you are taking part of a vitamin or part of a mineral or part of a nutrient that you need. And you need this nutrient to fight off these things. If you weren't getting the calcium in your bones are going to break. That's just your bones. It's a simple thing. But the thing is that CBDs help to alkaline your body, and cancer cannot live in an alkaline state. So if you're taking this and you're alkalining your body, then it cannot thrive. And that is what CBD do, is they help to alkaline your body. And again, taking Kannaway completely out of my statement because they are not medical. I'm just going off of hemp and marijuana in particular, not Kannaway. It is it does and needs to be in your body. It needs to be part, because it is already part of your cell structure. So if you're out there, like you, Clayton, who's been smoking this forever and are healthy, the reason that you haven't gotten anything, the reason that you're able to stay that way is because you have known all along that it needed to be a part of your system. It needed to be a part of your body, just like you need vitamin C, just like you need iron, just like you need calcium. These are things that help you work, folks. These are things that help your body stay healthy. And they took this out of your diet for a reason. Because if they have this, you know, if anybody that's out there has watched that movie, Independence Day, and the guy says, well, how do you fund these things? Well, guys, it doesn't cost $75,000 for a toilet seat. It does not cost $100,000 for a hammer. Okay? There's a reason that cancer research is breaking in billions of dollars, because they are taking this money and they are not spending it on what you think they are. They are not spending it on cancer research, because they know there is a cure, guys. They're not stupid. And they took it away from your diet specifically to make you sick, so that way you will go and spend millions of dollars on pharmaceutical products, because that's what makes them money. They're not out looking out for you. They are not concerned about your health and your well-being. They are concerned about lining their pockets.
That's you're exactly right.
Simple.
And
and you know what? It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, Clayton, that they would take all this stuff and do that.
The profit margin on the Valium or the Luvox or whatever it is you're taking in these prescription medications is about 2,000% profit.
Absolutely. And not only that, but it's been proven that when you take the pharmaceuticals, the numbers are astounding, guys. People die from pharmaceuticals. Thousands every day. You know what? Nobody dies from smoking marijuana, and nobody dies from eating hemp. But they do die from taking pharmaceutical medications.
50 people a year. 50 people a
year
year die of aspirin. 50 people a year die of aspirin. Hundreds of thousands die from alcohol and tobacco, and hundreds of thousands die from these pharmaceuticals. If you go into a hospital, they fed me $750,000 worth of drugs in 3 months in a hospital. I went there for 3 broken ribs. I was in a motorcycle accident, and I had a bump on the head and 3 broken ribs. They fed me $750,000 worth of drugs. You got stuck for the tab, folks, because I didn't pay it.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And then on top of that, if you give yourself a minute, and I would say right now there's an insulin pen that they just came out with. And I'll tell you something, Clayton. Josh would fall over in his seat if he actually stopped to listen to this, because I know he doesn't, because he does not like the garbage behind it. But if you stop and listen on TV to their ads, one of the things that this insulin pen can give you is pancreatitis. Now, I'm sorry, but I have pancreatitis. Josh has pancreatitis, and I will tell you that he and I will be the first people to tell you, you do not want this, folks. You don't even want a chance that you could get this. It is one of the most painful illnesses you could have, and it makes you deathly sick. And I'll tell you what, if you use this insulin pen, it has the potential of giving you pancreatitis, and they make that claim on TV. Why would you want to go there and do this? Why?
I've watched
Am I not
every other commercial on the Super Bowl was for some type of drug. This wasn't allowed 20 years ago. And the first half of the commercial, every one of them tells you how it can kill you. What do you hear? Watch out for this, watch out for this. Go to your doctor, check this out, check this out, check this out. It was incredible. I mean, why would anybody take anything? well, this could kill you, but I mean, even there's a sex drug they got out. Be sure to check with your doctor to see if you're healthy enough for sex. Come on, come on.
I like it when they say, here's a pill to counteract this other pill. Like when you start pushing pills, but to prevent the side effects of other pills. I'm not sure what that is.
It's insane. They are not there to protect you. The doctors don't make any money. Don't make any money if you're well. So I mean, from the food you eat to the air you breathe to the water you drink, it's designed to keep you sick.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're right about the alkaline. For years, I sold a soap that was called Miracle 2. It had a byproduct that was part of the soap called neutralizer, and it would neutralize a snake bite. It would neutralize the poison. I had people call me up and tell me, oh, Clay, I was taking these statins, and I couldn't walk around the block. I was so weak I couldn't walk around the block. I started taking this neutralizer. I walked all over the whole neighborhood telling everybody about it. And the neutralizer was basically, water with electrically charged water with alkaline baking soda added.
That's hysterical.
So the answer to everything that ails you is available from what God gave us. The plants that God gave us, and the plant of renown is the hemp plant. In my opinion.
You know what, Clayton? I was going to say, I know that Seth is on. He's one of the people in Kannaway that's just incredible. You might want to ask him.
Go ahead. You can ask him. You're
how far away,
Fire it off, Seth.
In my experiences, yeah, it's interesting because I in looking at this program and particularly looking at the effects of CBD, I'm kind of the new guy here. I'm the guy that's getting his eyes open. I'm really like Neo in the Matrix, and I took the red pill, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm learning so much about this, and it's really been an interesting journey for me. I'm kind of coming from the side of someone who's been on the blindsided side of the public that really hasn't understood how powerful and how incredible the effects of CBD are in the system. And I've gone through this journey, learning everything from the effects of hempcrete and having a negative carbon footprint on the environment, soaking up carbon monoxide and soaking up carbon dioxide, and seeing that this plant has such an incredible amount of usage. The amount of paper you can make out of hemp, essentially, you can grow in about a month's time, and the plant regrows, whereas it takes about 27 years to create the same amount of paper with wood. Because the environmental effects that we've been damaging our environment for so many years, doing things really backwards, because we had an opportunity to run with this plant that really could have stabilized and strengthened the American economy for hundreds of years, and we've demonized it, mostly for economic and political reasons, that a lot of people are finally looking around and saying, what were we doing? What have we been doing? And it really, the charge that led it was the medical marijuana, charge that's really taken hold. But like you pointed out, Clayton, that charge has left a lot of people behind. People like yourself, who, if you didn't know any better, you might try once and say, oh, well, I didn't qualify, or I don't have enough medical ailments, or whatever it might happen to be. And then some people that don't have, that don't have the drive behind it are going to stop right there, and they're going to go back to Leroy on the corner and buy.
Somebody asked me one time, guy, I'll let you respond to this. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the medical industry, when they tapped my phone and arranged an accident, and the accident didn't kill me, they tried again in the hospitals. I mean, I've had people look at my medical records and say, my God, they tried to kill you. You're not supposed to put this stuff together. They gave you morphine, halcyon, Haldol, Valium, all at the same time. Well, their only mistake was trying to kill an old biker. and it probably ain't gonna happen.
Wow.
Now they tried to overdose an old biker, and it didn't happen. And when I walked out of the hospital, I said, they said, now make sure he takes his Depakote. I said, no thanks. I've read the contraindications on that. I don't need a heart attack. The only thing I need is a joint and a Harley, and leave me the hell alone.
Exactly.
You better leave this long-haired country boy alone, or I'll jam that Harley up your ass. Leave me alone.
Right? You know, Clayton, when I was in the hospital for all of those problems, they tried to shove me full of medications too. And I will tell you what, I was so on top of them to make sure that they weren't giving me anything that I did not need. I had to literally just weave myself in and out of the medical system when I was, because I literally spent, since 2009, I've probably spent a good year and a half total of that time in a hospital, and it is literally very difficult to weave in and out of the games that they try to play, not only because they want to give you stuff that you don't need, but they want to do it because whatever drug they give you lines their pockets with more money.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
And now, I told you I believe I got a divorce over there, so she said, those doctors saved your life, Clay. I said, no, they tried to kill me. And the proof of that was a little woman in a brown dress that showed up right after the two guys that said they were CIA. Hi, Clay, you been hallucinating? Well, you can thank us for that. Yeah, who are you? We're CIA. Yeah, what are you doing in this country? What are you doing messing with me? Well, we don't like you publishing that motorcycle magazine. I said, motorcycle magazine? Free Americans want to expose you spook types in. Why would you care about a motorcycle magazine? Because it was still going. And then 2 days after they showed up, and I ran them out, I told them, I said, well, listen, boys, thanks for the high, man, but frankly, it wasn't nearly as good as that acid you brought in the 60s. Now get out of my hospital.
Right?
The next day, a little woman shows up. Hi, Mr. Douglas. I got to give you this injection.
Oh,
what is that? It's just a tranquilizer. Lady, if that was Kool-Aid, it'd kill a horse. No thanks. I don't feel like being tranquil today. I'm going to pass. You have to. I have to give you this. No, ma'am, I got the right to refuse medication. I don't know who you are. I don't know what that is. I'm not taking it. You have to. I'm gonna bring security in, and they're gonna hold you down. I'm gonna give it to you. Well, bring them in. And she did.
You know, Clayton, it almost goes further than that, and I really hate to say it, but it actually goes to the point where, let me tell you, this is so incredibly sad. I really hate this. But, you know, every single thing that's in your body, y'all, every single thing, even, yes, down to your appendix and your gallbladder, has a function, and it is there for a reason. And even though doctors will tell you that you really don't need it, that is a lie. Because the surgery that they're going to perform on you pays them a ridiculous sum of about $350,000 per surgery that they are allowed to do on you, depending on what you have that's wrong. And let me tell you something, guys. Your gallbladder holds bile. It basically is a garbage can for your body. And if that is not in your body, folks, where is that going? It is dripping on your inside. And eventually, if you are not healthy enough and you are not taking care of yourself, you will just get cancer on the fact that your body does not have your trash can in it anymore. So I'm sorry. When you are trying to continue to be healthy, you must take care of your gallbladder and your appendix, because these are things that you do need that the medical professionals will tell you that you don't, so that they can get the money for themselves to take these things out of you, because it is a quote-unquote, it's not a necessary procedure. That's crap. Totally crap. So, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, they just want to do anything to you that they possibly can to bring in money, including take out insides that you actually need, that you can actually clean, because there are ways to do so that they don't tell you about, so that way they can, again, make more money.
Well, reason I added Kannaway to my website, the reason I'm having this show is, and it's not just Kannaway out there. There are people out there that are not in the medical industry that, and I mean, 20 years ago, I distributed a tape called Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And that was a veterinarian that wrote a book and had a product talking about your minerals. He said if you just take the right vitamins and minerals, your body will heal itself, and it does that. And what they don't tell you about the cannabis is that it aids in that healing. The roots of the hemp plant go so deep, it brings out something called fulvic acid out of the soil. That they have when doctors or biochemists try to get it today, they got to get it from prehistoric plants because it doesn't grow in our soil. Our plants don't produce it anymore. Prehistoric plants did. And that is fulvic acid. I will have links up on my website to an article written by a biochemist that produced colloidal vitamins for me a few years back. And they contained fulvic acid, which repairs cellular damage. You can heal yourself. And the hemp plant goes so deep. And the hemp plant, I don't have to worry about making claims on this. There's a website called Phoenix Tears. Guy up in Canada cured all of his neighbors of cancer by making hash oil. PhoenixTears.com. So everything you're saying is accurate. They don't want you to. They don't want you to be well. They don't want you to have cannabis because it will make you well.
Yes, it will.
And we're not talking about. I'm not. You can actually get cannabis. There's a company out of New York that brings their cannabis seeds and stuff in from Canada that doesn't have THC. Doesn't have THC, but it's the best antioxidant. It's the best addition to your day, and this is what you can get from Kannaway. Is that accurate? Seth, are you there?
I was on mute. Sorry, guys. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I was on mute. It's interesting. What this company is really love to charge. You mentioned the company High Times a little while ago, and actually the High Times hosts an event that I know you're well aware of, Clayton, called the Cannabis Cup, and they host that in several different places. There's the next one coming up here is on, of course, 420, April 20th, which is going to be happening here in just about a month's time. So actually, Kannaway is going to be flying out here for that particular event. Now, for the last 3 years straight, one of their sister companies has entered the Cannabis Cup and won the event for the highest CBD concentrate oil. Now, prior to their winning it, the highest percentage, I believe, up till about 3 years ago that was obtained in a CBD extract oil was somewhere around the range of about 56%. Now, when they entered for the first year, they had to retest the sample so many times because they thought there was no way the readings were accurate. They were coming up with this really weird number of 96% purity. So everybody thought that, is this our scales broken essentially? And that was, they retested it so many times, they finally got the same number after every single test that they awarded the prize to the folks down there. And now, after 3 years of winning it, last event and that one, they got 99% pure CBD oil. Now, I want to make it clear, that's not specifically the oil that goes into the products that Kannaway are offering, mostly because it takes about $300,000 to create a tiny little vial of that oil. However, it does tell you that this company is committed to creating some of the strongest and highest content CBD products on the planet, things that you can't find anywhere else, and that would even include Canada at the moment, although hopefully soon we'll be able to ship to Canada fairly soon. But this is a worldwide precedent that this company is setting, and as far as the purity of the oil, the purity of the extract, what we're getting from them is something that can't be obtained anywhere else, specifically at the kind of cost levels that we're talking about, because with this company we're talking about being able to get a product shipped to you and to your doorstep for around $50 a month. And a lot of folks are really getting a lot of really excellent relief, pain relief, and that sort of thing out of the skincare salve, which is also an anti-aging formula, and specifically used to treat inflammation and joint pain and that kind of stuff. And a lot of folks are really getting some great results out of that.
All right.
It is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I have to put it on my hands since I have fibromyalgia in the morning. I actually wake up and I put it on my handset, and I have incredible results personally with it.
All right. The only thing I've got on this so far is the skin cream, the defined salve. I'm looking forward to trying more of it. I'll be getting that in probably this next month here. But I appreciate you guys using this. I mean, I know what cannabis does for me, and I know that at 67 years old, I don't have anything wrong with me. Don't have cancer. Don't have the flu. Don't take a flu shot. Don't need anything. And I personally would like to come to Colorado because I think Colorado is the flagship state for the rest of the states right now. What's happening with not only Kannaway, but what's happening with the whole movement. We're taking the doctors out of it. We're taking the medical industry. We're taking the pharmaceutical industry out of it. We're taking the GMOs out of it. They're going to try to make GMO cannabis. I promise you guys.
You know what? I will tell you what, Clayton. I literally, when they start talking about industrialize, or making more hemp than just what's out there, you already know that I'm just so nervous about that whole entire thing. It's not even funny.
Well, remember the people that gave you Roundup, also gave you Agent Orange. They are the ones that are producing the corn that rats won't eat, but they want to feed it to your children. I'm talking about Monsanto. I think we ought to renew the whole idea of hanging and hang all of these executives from Monsanto. But that's just a personal opinion.
I could not agree with you more. I could not agree with you more.
What's that, sir?
Hey, it's Josh. Hey, just as a side mention, I haven't really said anything in a little while, but you guys are talking right up my alley here. Just as a kind of a note for myself, I'm heavily involved, especially back when it was real heavy in the Occupy movements and the WTO riots in Seattle and things of that nature. That's something that I've always lived for, is to try and get those people out of my life. And that's something that, honestly, again, I've been involved in RML and Sensible Washington and all, just all of those different programs. This is the thing that I keep hearing here. It just keeps wanting to speak to me, you guys. It's larger than even what we're talking about. I mean, Clayton, just hearing you speak about the things you've done, and I know some of your accomplishments and things. This is something that, my mom, who was absolutely dead set against me smoking pot my entire life, recently not only has understood CBDs, but now she's one of the main people that is promoting Kannaway with me. And this is a woman who is the smartest woman I've ever met, who would never ever smoked cigarettes, never smoked pot, and all of a sudden she actually did understand it, and now she's she's a large part of my business. She's out there telling people, I was wrong. This is something that we all should be on. It's helped her in ways. She's again, we don't talk medical or whatever, but I mean, this woman's bipolar with fibromyalgia, and she's getting up in age, and this CBD regimen that she has started on has, literally improved her entire life. And man, just by watching my mom and my sister and the people around me who are finally being able to get these and not have to be scared of prosecution and jail time, and just watching the whole way of life improve.
Hold on just a second. Amazing. Hold on just a second here. A little commercial.
Elected politicians get the news behind the news at truthradio.com. At Truth Radio, you can listen live or listen to a large selection of archived programs on demand. Listen when you want to. TruthRadio.com. The truth is out there. All you have to do is open your mind and listen.
And go to freeamerican.com and get the Free American magazines. I have restarted my Free American magazine, which I started publishing 20 years ago, back in 1994. I had them in Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, and then I made a little, so I guess I was a tactical error. I put building number 7 on the cover of my March 2004 issue, and I put building number 7 on the cover, and I referred to it on the air as an exaggerated case of Jewish lightning, and I don't think the Mossad appreciated that, because that's when they tried to kill me. But now, after 10 years, I've got the Free American back. Go to freeamerican.com, and you can read the first 11 issues that I put out again. The new issues cost you $2.99, and that's a bargain, because you went into Barnes & Noble, you had to drive to Barnes & Noble and use gas to buy them for $5. Barnes & Noble got half that, the distributor got part of that, the paper companies and Hearst Paper Company and DuPont Inc. got the pretty much the bulk of it. So I cut out all of the middlemen, and now I sell it straight to you, $2.99, and you get the truth and you get the information. And the latest issue has links to Kannaway. I think this is an important part. It's nice to tell people there are answers out there. We've got the technology. We've got the resources. All you need to do is take your gun out, load it, clean it, shoot the TV, and you'll read the Free American, listen to this radio show, and you'll be a lot better off. They don't call it programming for nothing, man. I mean, come on. They don't call it programming for nothing. This is Talmud Vision, and it's it's got Big Brother right there in your living room.
Very true. Very true.
In my opinion. Now,
I agree. I do.
Go ahead.
I will tell you, Clayton, I absolutely, I can't, I mean, there's so many other things that, obviously, I just detest, along with just becoming unhealthy. Just another thing that I would say before, because I'm gonna have to two things. One, if you have time later, I would definitely jump onto the topic of some type of vaccinations and how absolutely horrific they are, and how absolutely they're trying to just pump toxins into our bodies. Another way that they want to try to keep us sick, instead of going out and giving us this beautiful natural plant that can actually help, ward off the problems. Instead, they try to give us these lies, and they try to vaccinate you and try to make you think that it's good for you, when it's absolutely the most horrific thing you can do, because they put mercury and formaldehyde and antifreeze and even other animals' bloods and pus into these vaccinations, and then they want to call it safe. It's disgusting when you can get your own naturally helping to keep your body healthy, instead of putting garbage into your body. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I don't get any vaccinations, but I did film the first Homeland Security meeting. It's available. You can see it live, pretty much, on my video called Mystery Babylon: The New World Order Unveiled. I filmed the first Homeland Security meeting. Colonel John Brinkerhoff was lecturing law enforcement at Sandia Labs in Albuquerque. And he's telling people we're in for a war. It's a long war, and it's maybe longer than the Cold War. And this war will be fought on American soil, and the enemy's weak. The enemy's weak. The enemy doesn't have tanks, he doesn't have planes, doesn't have helicopters, so he's going to use unconventional means. And in case of an atomic attack, an earthquake of sufficient magnitude along the New Madrid fault line, or a single case of smallpox in a major metropolitan area, we'll need 400,000 well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops to control the American people, because some of them just won't follow orders. No shit, Sherlock. No shit. Some of us won't line up on the Kmart parking lot to get a vaccination for a disease that's been eradicated for 100 years, to get a vaccination that will give us that disease. Oh, just a mild case, just a mild case, just a mild case, which is what the vaccinations do. Some of us won't line up. Some of us won't take that shot. And that's why they have the FEMA camps. That's why they have our militarizing our police forces. They are turning their SWAT teams into troops in the street. Troops that just watch what happened in Boston, folks. That's a sign of what's to come. They want to start a disease that pretty much got wiped out when we stopped selling the smallpox-infested blankets to the Indians. Seed been wiped out for 100 years. Now they want to give you a vaccination for it. I wouldn't take a vaccination. I wouldn't allow any of my family, any of my friends to ever take a vaccination. And folks, 67 years old, I don't take a flu shot, and I don't get the flu.
Yep, exactly. Hello. But the last thing I want to say, Clayton, because I'm gonna have to let Josh continue on, is as far as anybody that's listening, Kannaway Nation, and Clayton, thank you so much again for letting me be a part of this. But Denver is going to be a very, very big thing for Kannaway. If you guys get in, when you guys get in, I'll tell you that, when you get into Kannaway, when you become a part of this awesome movement with a pay plan, when you choose to aspire higher in your life, there's going to be an event in Denver. It's going to be, obviously, 419 and 420, y'all. And listen, you're going to want to be there if you get the chance, because Kannaway is going to have a awesome convention with amazing leaders and people that are going to be there that are going to just want to make your life better, enrich it in so many ways. And it's going to be an event that is just going to be outstanding. And when you join this company, and if you do so before, anytime from now, and, anytime you decide to, but if you decide to do this before April the 19th, I would definitely say, guys, be in Denver, be at this convention. It's going to be at the Denver Convention Center. It is $99 a ticket to attend, but it is going to be the best money you've ever spent. It is going to be the best event you've ever been to in your life. It is going to enrich your life in so many ways that you will not even understand it until you go there and you experience it for yourself. Try your hardest, please, to get there, because it is going to be, I love football. I love the Super Bowl. I love that kind of the action. But you guys, this is going to even be bigger than the Super Bowl. And I would just say, please try to get there, because you will learn so much about CBD, and you will learn so much about what this company is really trying to do and how it's trying to just enrich people's lives. And it's going to be a platform for you to start and take yourself and launch yourself to a higher place in your own being. And, and Clayton, I just want to thank you so much for having me on, because, it's amazing what you're doing. It's amazing that you're still out there and you're still talking about the things that people are very scared to hear. And it's a shame. It's such a shame that, people just live in fear. They live in fear, and they get beat down because our disgusting government wants us to just walk around afraid. And, that's not what it was ever made for. It was supposed to be to help people, and you're not supposed to fear, your own government. Unfortunately, we're getting to the point where it just is, and it's a shame. And you know what, Clayton, for you to stay on and stay active and stay outspoken is incredible to me. And I just want to give you props, kudos, and thank you very much for having me on and giving even me a voice to be able to tell people, stand up, people. This is not the end of the world, and we can make a difference.
Well,
and we start here.
You have hit on it. They have certain tactics that are the oldest tactics in warfare. Divide and conquer is one. They want you being afraid of your neighbor instead of working with your neighbor. And they want you to live in fear. If you're afraid, you can't make rational decisions. You can't think properly because you're afraid. This is what they want. They encourage that. Television encourages that. I don't want you to be afraid. I don't want you to be afraid of these people. Don't have the power that they would like for you to believe they have. And we beat them once. We beat the empire that the sun never sets on. We beat that to establish this country. We're going to kick the new world order out. It's not working no more. They kept hemp from you for 50 years, and I wrote books about that. Those will be out and released this year. Hopefully, I'll be able to come up there to Colorado and sell my books and talk to you and do the show right there from Colorado, generating my own power from my juice box, doing the computer, doing my show on Skype, just like I'm doing it here from the back of a fifth wheel. I'll do it from the back of my Harley if I have to.
I love it. And I'll be taking Seth with me too, so Seth, if you want to say a couple things before we got to get to our other destination.
Okay, who we got? Seth,
I just want to say thank you very much.
Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you very much for having me on here, Clayton. It's been a wonderful experience, and very excited to be connected with this community now. I feel like finally I've found some folks who really understand what's going on. It really gives me a great perspective on things, and I'm very honored to be part of Kannaway right now and working with them. I think we have a real opportunity to change a lot of people's viewpoints and minds on the subject of CBD and cannabis, and take it out of the demonized category. It's been in for far too long, and put this into public consciousness. So thank you very much for the opportunity to do that today.
My pleasure. Josh, are you going to be able to stay with me for another 45 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Amy, thank you. Seth, if you're leaving, go with Amy here. Get your work done. And love to have you guys back on. Stay in touch with me. One of the most important things that we can do is work together. This Kannaway is giving you a way to work together, a way to make some income, a way to get the information out and get the truth out. But we need to work it, and you need to do this and carry this message to your own community, to your own counties, to your own towns. Get involved. They wanted to shut you down. Clay's promoting marijuana. He thinks you don't want to smoke marijuana. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. That is the propaganda trying to paint a picture of something that ain't real.
Agree.
All right. Amy, thank you again for being with me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Seth. I'll talk to you guys a little bit later today. It was my pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Josh, so much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Clayton, thank you so much. We will be in touch very soon.
All right, dear. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. I want to hear from anybody in Colorado that wants to organize, that wants a spokesman, that wants somebody who's been in this fight for the last 50 years, and I ain't slowing down a bit.
Well, we're right on board with you.
All right. Looking forward to doing that. I personally, I want to move to Colorado. I've got a lot of alternative health people up there. I'll be bringing them up on my show this next week. And they are right there in Colorado. A lot of information out there, folks. You can get it at freeamerican.com. And you can pull this tape off, Amy, right under your name. All you got to do is go to Blog Talk, save it for your default player. You got an MP3 file that you can share with everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Clayton. I appreciate it.
All right. It'll also be up on Facebook. Thank you.
Awesome. We will talk soon then. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Josh, you still with me, though, right?
Yes, sir. Yep, I'm right here.
All right. Tell me about you, Josh. You've been kind of there in the background. Give me a little bit of your history, how you, where you come from, and how you got into this.
I mean, again, I kind of mentioned that earlier, but I'm actually from Seattle, and we have a lot of the same pioneering laws as Denver and Colorado. And so even though I'm not from Denver, I've been through, the big push that was made there in Seattle. I was heavily involved in the initiative signings and all the rest of things that have changed those laws. But horticulture is something that I have a background in, and just everything about it. I don't know. Like I said, I just love it. I'm only 36, but we've got a few age years difference, of course. But as far as for me, I got sick when I was 21, and so I've been heavily involved in this organization and in the organization's here for 15 years.
All right, horticulture. You're growing your own. You growing your own cannabis too?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course. I've got some of the top growers in Washington that I work with. And so between us, we've been able to produce, real super clean, high quality medication for patients up there, and not have to charge them, because we're not, obviously that's not what it's for. That's actually for the medicine. We believe in the medicine. We don't believe in the money.
Good. Put me on your mailing list there. I could certainly use some good smoke. I stayed out of Texas. I stayed out of Texas for 45 years, sort of a voluntary exile. And because most of the states I've lived in didn't take the harsh view of 99 years behind bars for having a joint in your pocket. But now Texas, I understand Texas is coming around, and they're talking about legalization or medical or something. I hope that happens. Because personally, out of these states, yes, sir. Go ahead.
So it's just the two of us. I mean, I've been sitting back. Seth, you brought something up earlier that was important. When I was seeking out this medication, this particular plant of the renown, it wasn't exactly easy to find. You know what I mean? So when my original doctor gave me, and again, it's not a prescription for marijuana. It's just a recommendation. They're just recommending that it may help. Back then, there wasn't dispensaries and things. It wasn't on every street corner. You know what I mean? It was still a challenge. All that did, that medical marijuana law, when it first went into effect in 1998, it just helped the doctors who were giving recommendations not get, prosecuted. And then later on, if I did have some pot in the car or whatever, and I get pulled over, I've got a permit to show the police, so that, basically, we knew that wasn't the right system. We wanted it to be legal, but I mean, at least we had a little bit of protection. And then from those laws, we've been able to do the things that, by making it more public that it's okay to have medical marijuana and things of that nature. Then we've been able to push it into the legalized state that it is now. Currently, Washington and Colorado, have a decriminalized system for a certain amount, and so for us, that was just a stepping point. We, the whole time we wanted it totally legal and, completely decriminalized so that people don't have to worry about it. I personally have views on this, as far as, taxation from medical marijuana or from the hemp plant, of course. Now that we're into the industrial hemp revolution versus medical marijuana, and that's a big key here too, is that this new Kannaway thing is more tied into the industrial hemp revolution than just medical marijuana, and so we don't really need to talk about that too much. But if we could figure out, the tax system and stuff like that, I mean, if they were to, maybe even fight some of the harder drugs and some of the, harder pharmaceutical drugs, shoot, we could actually maybe make a dent, you know what I mean? So, I mean, this plant, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it, just like you, I guess, it really can save the world. I mean, it really can. I mean, we've all talked about what it does. I mean, but imagine if we could actually turn pots into, getting those people out of jail, of course, and then putting the true hard criminals in there. I mean, if we could actually figure out a system to help rectify some of the, I guess the wrongs, the injustices and things that the prescription people, the pill people have done. I mean, that's really what I would like to see happen, and I don't know if that makes sense or if it's even viable. I don't know if we could do it, but I mean, it's bigger than myself, and that's the thing, and I'm just part of a big movement.
Yes, we can do that. And, I'm living proof, man. I mean, they've tried to kill me. I've died a couple of times. Got kicked out of heaven, I guess. They kept telling me, "You're not done here. You're not done here. Get back in that body."
I thought all bikers go to heaven.
Yeah, we do. So,
that's what my dad says.
either that, the devil kicked me out because he was afraid I'd take over. I'm not sure which. But we need to do this. the hemp industrial, it was by popular mechanics $1 billion crop in the 30s. They stole it from us, took it to Russia, took it to Red China. Right now, there's 10,000 products made out of hemp, and you got to buy the raw material from China or Canada. No, we don't need to do that. And by using the marijuana, the THC, the cannabis responsibly, you can keep yourself healthy. You don't need the doctors. And we need to promote that. It's a whole different lifestyle. We knew what it was in the 60s. I got started here. I helped start the head shops all across the country. I helped start High Times around the country. I was a distributor for High Times when it first started. We need...
So you were heavily involved in NORML too as well, right?
Keith Stroop, I promoted Normal. I promoted Keith Stroop. Back in the 50s, we met at the McAlpin Hotel at the first paraphernalia convention. I was friends with Don Levin from Adam's Apple, Sheldon Linter from Linter Enterprises. One of my employees, young guy, started the graphics bongs. Jack Harrah, he had the Absolutely, and I financed him while he wrote Emperor Wears No Clothes. So I've been in this for a long time.
Yeah, actually, I've read that book. That's amazing. I have a graphic, by the way. Tell your friend thank you.
Well, he's dead now. He died. Jack Harris died.
Oh.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one out there that's still living, and you know, they really don't want you to know about me. They don't want you to know about me.
Clayton, I'll tell you honestly, you know, the other thing about this America thing is, you know, for so many years we were the lead exporter of goods for the entire world, and now we're the biggest consumer. We import more than anyone else, and so this hemp revolution for me is something that if we can get it growing here with the new farm bill that got passed, and I mean, I can get into that or whatever. I don't agree with government subsidizations on some of that stuff, but as far as the industrial hemp revolution and bringing back hemp where it can be grown here and exported, just the exportation of this is going to, you know, reduce the dependency from other countries importing. We'll actually be able to become an exporter again potentially, and that when we export instead of import is really how you can really write a ship quickly. Yeah. When people want to buy your goods instead of you buying theirs.
What I've tried to tell people over the years is exactly that. Anytime a communist regime takes over a country, they go after three classes of people almost in order. The first, they go after the farmers because they don't want you being able to feed yourself. Now, our farmers have been under attack since easily the 30s when they pledged all of you factory workers to when Roosevelt pledged you factory workers to the bankers as collateral. You're collateral. You're a debt slave. They went after the farmers, and removing hemp from our farms was their first tactic by calling it marijuana. They because it looks the same, you couldn't have the DEA come up and rip up your hemp plant, so they made all of it illegal. And that was an attack on our farmers because it's a rotational crop. It goes into the ground, it pulls the vitamins and the minerals out of the ground that you need, that your plants need, that your tomatoes need, that your lettuce needs to keep you healthy. And this has been a war on the farmers. Now, in the 30s, during the Depression, half the country, 40% of the country, lived on the farms. Today, you got less than 2%. But the trend is, even housing developments now are putting in farms. Putting in a farm group in their community so they can grow their own food. That's a part of the movement that we started. I call it the Liberty Village concept. I call it the Liberty Village concept. And it's
I like that Liberty Village concept.
That's right. And the Liberty Village concept is really simple. You can take the self-sufficient family farm, you grow your own food, you can put solar, you can put wind on it, and you can go back to living the way they lived 200 years ago. The technology
You can live in hemp houses and drive plastic cars made from hemp.
Hempcrete, hemp plastic. You can do all of that.
Hempcrete for your driveway? Why not?
That's right. And the hempcrete, you make your bricks. It's better than adobe, folks. You make it like adobe. You mix in the hemp with it. It is stronger than steel, folks. Doesn't deteriorate.
You can tie a tire up to your tree with a hemp rope.
Yes.
Swing away. Swing away. I just have a little vision of this little green village thing, and I just like this.
I have a little different vision. I think one of the reasons they tried to outlaw hemp is because they were afraid we were going to hang the bastards. And by the way, it's still treason is still a hanging offense, and I recommend hemp rope as opposed to DuPont's nylon or rayon rope.
Sure.
Hang them all. Get a rope.
It was the preferred rope for bull riders also. Ask a cowboy.
Yep. And we conquered this whole country, this whole earth. We conquered the country with hemp. We made our sails out of it. We made our ropes out of it. Hell, even in World War II, when the Japanese were interfering with shipping in the Philippines, the Department of Defense asked farmers to start growing hemp again. Absolutely, Toga, absolutely. We should hang the bankers with hemp rope. That's and I say that kind of jokingly, but that's probably one of the reasons they're so afraid of it.
That's actually funny. I mean, as far as political jokes, that's one of the best ones I've heard. They're scared of hemp rope because they're afraid we'd hang them with it.
No, can't have that.
Well, it's a strong rope. I can understand. They're not going to get out of it. It's really strong. Hemp is a strong substance.
That's right. And just what was it? The USS Constitution. Sailing ship. One of our last warships. Had tons of hemp rope on it. We need to bring the hemp back, and it ain't just about smoking. That's just a little fringe benefit that God gave us, I think. And
it goes back to biblical times. Obviously, the plant with the with the herb that bears seeds. In Genesis, it talks about it in Ezekiel with the plants of the renown. I mean, 2,000 years ago, they've been talking about this plant. The government took it away. We've all said it. I mean, this is not something that's bad for us. George Washington and all the original founders of this country grew hemp on their farms, and then they took it away. That's a shame that they can do that sort of stuff in what they would consider to be a free state, a free union, a free nation. I fight for my freedoms. I know a lot of my friends do too. I appreciate the fact that you do, but they're trying to take them all away. I mean, the new bills they've signed to make America a battleground, and like you mentioned before, the FEMA camps. I didn't mention that, but I heard you say it. This is privatized prison systems where people can be, put in there and get government subsidies, and that it's scary. It is very scary what's going on out there right now.
15,000 a year. The last issue, the March issue of the Free American. Again, you can get it for $2.99. Shop.freeamerican.com. The whole story in the first few articles in there is about the private prison systems, and most of the people in there they put in for drugs. For what you got in your pocket, son? What you got in your pocket?
Protesters, peaceful protesters. When I was in the Occupy movement and stuff, the peaceful protesters who were just getting blasted by pepper spray by the police, and they're all just sitting across, Mahatma Gandhi, and they're all just sitting there, preaching Gandhi and peaceful protest, and they're just getting blasted by the pepper sprays and stuff. It was really a world-changing moment for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and even the Occupy movement got hijacked because the only thing people
they all did.
Go ahead.
I know all about that stuff, but I mean, it was nice to have a grassroots movement, but any kind of leaderless movement where everybody's moving in different directions, there's no cohesion, there's going to be a problem with that. And so for me, I don't say my own agenda, I had my own reasons for going. One of them was the marijuana thing. One of them was the rights violations that were going on. And so I did have my specific reasons for being there, but any kind of leaderless movement is destined to doom from the beginning. It's just how it is. But at least it was an uprise. It was enough to tell people there's something going on. There's something going wrong. Please pay attention, and that's all that we were trying to do it for, was to get some attention drawn to the corruption that was going on around us. No one seemed to want to do anything.
Well, it's like I said about the pro-cannabis, about NORML, about the hemp movement, and about the anti-war. Vietnam was not a just war. The Vietnamese were not our enemies. They never done anything to it. That was to take over control of their oil, to take over control of their drugs. That was about the Golden Triangle. And they were shipping that heroin back over in the bodies of my brothers.
Yeah.
And we stopped it. We stopped it. Smoking a joint, listening to Steppenwolf, rocking out, having a good time, partying, and passing out peace symbols, putting peace symbols on our cars, on our vehicles, on our helmets. That was, we stopped the war. We've got a lot more power than most people believe, than they want you to believe. They want to keep you ignorant. They want to keep you down. Go ahead.
You're somebody who I would want to ask about this specifically, but as far as hemp being used as a renewable energy source, I mean, what can that do as far as hemp goes? I know that we can reproduce it quickly into fuel, but how can we get past the dependence of the foreign oil going on and maybe get some sort of internal help for fuel sources?
There are fuel sources out there. There are people that I've had on my show, like Paul Pantone. And if you go to my Facebook page, which is Free American 69, you can see about the alternative energy. There's a film up there, and it features Paul Pantone. And Paul, it's a matter of fact, I put it on my website. It's about alternate energy. Paul Pantone, 25 years ago, invented a GEAT device, and this is a carburetor that'll run anything. You can pour Pepsi into your gas tank, and your vehicle will run off of it with his GEAT carburetor. They put him in prison for 3.5 years. They put him in an insane asylum for 3.5 years to try to get him to sign over his patents on it. He wouldn't do it. He sells it all over the world, almost everywhere but America, because America doesn't want him. National security, which is working for the bankers and the oil companies, don't want you to know. We can get 60 miles a gallon. We can run that car on water with a GEAT device. Separates the hydrogen. All the answers are there, and hemp's just one of them. Just one of them. But if you build your home, you want to build a home, build it out of hempcrete. Look up hempcrete on the internet. You build it out of hemp.
Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with hempcrete. It's amazing. It's strong and it's amazing. Yeah, it's really awesome, and it doesn't do any kind of the detrimental activities of regular from the earth, and it's amazing. It's amazing stuff.
And it insulates. Here's the thing. Most of these little boxy houses that you're living in, 2,000 square feet of leaking wood. It doesn't contain the heat. It doesn't contain the air conditioning. It doesn't. They want you to pay that $100 power bill. So they want your houses to leak. You build them out of hempcrete. You put in the right kind of insulation, and you don't use that much power anymore. And you could light your home with hemp oil. We did it for years in this country.
There was somebody who had a hemp house, and they actually had a room in this house, and it was their office. They just had their computer on in there, and that computer, just from the actual heat that it was generating, would actually heat that room. You know, the heat wasn't leaking out. That computer just running would actually heat that room. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen.
There are, you know, they talk about two classes of people. There are two classes of people that live in adobe homes, the very rich and the very poor. You make it out of mud. The hempcrete is simply a step up from adobe. Adobe is a great insulator. It's a great building material. You can make it out of mud. You add hemp to it, and you've got something that's far stronger. I mean, even you can build hay bale homes, but to build hempcrete homes, you got something that'll basically withstand hurricanes.
Yeah, obviously, I at this point don't have one, but that's something that, as far as reducing the carbon footprint, all the things we're talking about today, this hits home, real home. These are things that I'm really concerned with in our state of the union. And so, reducing the carbon footprint is something that I feel is very, very important. And again, I'm a hemp guy. I'm a cannabis guy. I'm a marijuana guy. That plant is just the most amazing thing ever. And so for me, I have focused a lot of my energies on that particular avenue, and that is what brought me to Kannaway, 20 years in sales and 20 years in cannabis. And they brought a company that really, it just made more sense than anything I'd ever heard. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's why I've got Kannaway up there, because it's legal in 50 states. Everything else we're talking about, that'll get you put in jail or you grow a plant in your front yard. But folks, it's going to this is just a sign. I've referred to myself here, Josh, as a canary in a coal mine, because I'm so outspoken, because I know what's going on. They'll come after me first, but then they'll turn around and come after you, and they're doing it right now. There was a place here in Texas, up in Arlington, Texas, where I used to live, where I had one of the first head shops. It was called the Garden of Eden. Google it. Garden of Eden, Arlington, Texas. They sent the jackbooted thugs in to stomp on their tomato plants because they were growing organic food and feeding their neighbors. They don't want that. They want you to buy the genetically modified foods. They want you to go to the supermarket. They don't want you growing your own food. They don't want you being able to feed yourself. They want you standing in line with your little cup in your hand, begging.
It's an absolute crime. It's an absolute crime that they're allowed to do that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of what happens when you have the criminals in charge. The criminals are running our world right now. There's a couple of things I can't tell you. I can't tell you if the government took over the mafia or if the mafia took over the government. I can't tell you if we're under communism or fascism. It's two wings of the same bird, and the same is true of the Republicans and Democrats. None of these people are doing anything to help you. Now, I just put up a film. I put up a film here on my Facebook page, Free American 69, called After Armageddon. And this was put on by the History Channel. History.com put this up. And they have told you, the government studies have said, if they hit us with an EMP, if they do this, if electricity goes down, the food deliveries stop, the power companies stop. And it doesn't have to be an EMP. All they got to do is turn a goddamn switch off and create the disaster that would kill millions of people. If they cut all of your power off tomorrow, you die. You're going to die. The gangs will raid you. The refrigerators will go off. You will starve to death in mass numbers. What I propose, what the Free American proposes, with the information that we've got, grow your own food, generate your own energy, bring solar into your house, bring solar into your garage, put a solar unit on the back of your motorcycle so you got a way to get out and you'll be able to keep your computers going. You'll be able to keep your modems going. You'll be able to keep the satellites won't be affected. So if you got satellite modem, it'll still work. The computer will still work. Skype will still work. And if you work with your neighbors to plant a little bit of hemp, plant some tomatoes, plant some lettuce, and protect it from your chemtrails, protect it from the barium, filter your water, take the radioactivity out of your water, you can survive. But you got to start now. You got to start now saying in your neighbors, hey, let's work together. Let's work together and do this.
Yeah.
You've got to do that, folks. And the hemp's up.
You remember what it was like to have neighbors you could borrow stuff from, and they could borrow stuff from you, and everybody worked together as neighbors? Remember that? I do too.
Yeah, I that was 40 years ago. And then 20 years ago in Miami, I didn't know any of my neighbors. I'm just as guilty as what I'm telling you about right now, folks. Know your neighbors and talk with them. Say, how could we work together? My neighbors and I survived Hurricane Andrew right there in Miami. And we survived
long
enough.
I currently live in Florida, up in the panhandle of Florida. So, yeah, definitely, I'm real aware of what it takes down here to get through these things.
Yep. We took all the motorcycle clubs got together, had the Miami motormen lead us down to Homestead. We took 15 truck loads of diapers, food, blankets, water down to Homestead, and all the people from the neighborhood camped out on the biker parking lot. FEMA didn't do nothing for us. National Guard did. They brought us a generator that kept the beer cold. And the only thing FEMA did was come pick up the bodies we hung from the remaining light poles of the looters. You came onto a biker parking lot to steal. You never walked again. You never walked again. And matter of fact, when I got down there, I went up to the Miami motormen. I'd made arrangements with them. I said, now guys, I'm going to be passing you. I'll be, you're going to lead everybody down. I appreciate that. But I want to get pictures, so I'm going to pass you and take some pictures and probably do that a couple of times. Okay, Clay, no problem. We got down to Homestead. I went up, shook their hand, and I said, boys, I got to tell you, you made a dream of mine come true. Thank you very much. God bless you all. What, a dream? What? What are you talking about, Clay? I said, I always wanted to blow by a bunch of cops at 90 miles an hour and not get a ticket. Thanks, guys.
That is so funny.
They were pretty good. We had a good.
My dad's a biker. My dad and mom are bikers up in the Idaho area, and so believe me, I've been on some biker camps and mini Sturgis. We go to Sturgis every year. Yeah, I had a good time. You don't want to mess around in places like that. No, we run things pretty well. My first club went to the Banditos. My second club went to the Hells Angels. I don't ride with clubs because I'm just as comfortable with the Outlaws as I am the Angels, and I don't get involved in little petty shit. So, but my dad, he doesn't ride with a motorcycle club or anything. He just enjoys the ride.
It's it. It's a freedom.
Yep. No helmet laws, blasting away, just driving down the road. Yep. It's something. It's the difference between looking out your window and standing on your porch. It's just a complete difference. Yep.
And I've been through supposedly severe head injury. I said I had a bump on the head, but I wasn't wearing a helmet, and I still don't wear a helmet. I ride like a Texan should ride, with my cowboy hat. That's my helmet. That's my helmet.
Well, one of these days, I hope to maybe take a bike ride with you, Mr. Clayton. I've had a wonderful time on here today, and you're somebody who I have actually read some readings from. I'm very aware of some of your work. I'm very aware of The Emperor Wears No Clothes and some of your friends' works. And so when Amy said that, she called me last night and said that she was going to be on here this morning and invited me, I thought it was some sort of dream or some sort of joke or something. But here I am talking to you live, just having a conversation. So I can't tell you how great my day has started knowing what has happened here today. So I want to thank you for that at least.
I appreciate you being on. It's kind of strange being in my position. I had a guy, I walked into a little bar in Socorro, New Mexico a few years back. The guy comes up to me and goes, "You're Clay Douglas, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm Clay." He said, "Well, I recognized you when you walked in because you put your picture in your magazine. Why do you do that?" I said, "Because it's my magazine. Why wouldn't I do that?" Well, there's people out there that
I'm not afraid.
There's people out there that don't like what you got to say. Oh, you mean somebody out there might object to me having an opinion, me exercising my First Amendment rights? You think they might want to hurt me or something like that? Beat me up? Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, bud, here I am. Oh, not me. No, not me. No, I'm not. Well, now you know why I put my picture on. You got a problem with me? Let's get it on.
Yep, here we are.
Here we are. And I am actually accessible. My phone number's up on my website, up on my Facebook. You can get a hold of me anytime, and nobody ever does. It's kind of strange.
I'm going to, Mr. Clayton. I'm going to. I appreciate it. Just, there aren't, for me, like-minded people are tough to come by because I've been watching some of the travesties that have gone on for the past. You've got more experience than me, don't get me wrong, and, I've only been doing this for 15 years, but even what I've seen in the last 15 years has been mind-blowing, so I can't even, for me to just be able to soak up some of the stories that you've, experienced before even I got into this, it really is just reinforcing the fact that I'm on the right path,
You are on the right path. You are on the right path. You, you're welcome to call me anytime. I will speak to any groups. I will, I'll work with people any way I can. I've got magazines. Well, this is part of what I do. I publish a magazine. If you get one of these magazines, you can share it with all your friends. You can share it with your family. You can get it off of the computer in 5 minutes. Latest issues are $2.99, but you can go up on freeamerican.com and read the first 11 issues that I put out. I put them out for free now. Here, just read it. Understand what we're fighting here. This,
exactly.
I've been called racist. I've been called anti-Semitic. None of that. All that's bullshit. I don't care what your religion is. The Constitution takes care of that. You wanna hug a tree? Go ahead. I got tweezers here. You can pull some of the splinters out. You want to stick your nose in the dirt and your ass up in the air and pray to Mecca? Go right ahead. If I'm in your neighborhood, I'll shoot the St. Bernard off of you. You want to bang your head against that wailing wall, knock yourself out. I'll watch. Don't expect me to do it. I won't do it.
Right.
And I don't care what color you are. I had a big black guy up in Miami say, "Well, how do you feel about us black folks?" So I looked him in the eye. He was a football player, I guess, real muscular. I slapped him on the shoulder. I said, "Bud, I got to be real straight with you. I don't like niggers, white or black." "Oh, you might be okay. Yeah, you might be okay. I mean, I just wouldn't get in an old biker's face like that. But, yeah, you might be okay." And just the way I am, man. I don't care what you do. You can believe what you want. Here's all the information. Don't believe anything I tell you. Find out for yourself. Follow the links.
Yeah, don't believe me. Do the research.
Do the research.
It's funny, like two guys like you and I from two completely different walks of life. I mean, I'm a little bit of a city boy from Seattle, and so, for me, doesn't matter who you are, if you open up your eyes, doesn't matter where you come from, look at where we're going, and that should tell you everything you want to know about if that's the direction you want to head or not. It should.
It's that's right, man. It's their strategy is to divide and conquer. We need to fight that.
Yeah.
We need to fight that. We need to work together. We need to talk with each other. How can we work together?
Yeah.
What can we do together? What can you make in your garage? I ride a Harley, but I don't know how to work on it. I'm not mechanically minded. I can make this computer and this keyboard sing. You know, I can make the Harley stand up and dance, but I can't fix it. So I need help. I need help. I need people that can do this or can do that. You know, we've got veterans out there. I think it's a shame. It's a national tragedy that more of my brothers, I volunteered for Vietnam, but I didn't go. But out of the people that did go, more of them have committed suicide when they got home than were killed by the Viet Cong. That is a tragedy. That is a tragedy to me.
Yeah, I remember my dad talking about, I wasn't alive then, but my dad talking about when the people were returning home from Vietnam, you know, and he's, as far as he's concerned, heroes, you know, were getting booed and spit on and stuff. And when I watched the footage of that, obviously it was just the footage I watched of it, you know, literally made me tear up. You know what I mean? I was like, I can't believe that, you know, who I would call fellow brothers and sisters and things of that nature would treat another, you know, human like that, let alone, you know, someone who just got back. You know what I mean? It was just, it just, everything's been this eye-opening experience, you know, and you remind me a little bit of my dad, you know, a little bit, where some of the things, you know, that you talked about for sure. So it's, you know, it's cool. You know, co-op, I talk about that word a lot, cooperatively. The medical marijuana, I know we kind of get away from that, but the co-op that I had, it was a cooperative of people who were like-minded people, business owners and smart, intelligent people, growers and facility owners, and just everybody who had come together for this greater cause. And that's, you know, I just can't say enough about that. I can't do it myself, you know. When you know, religion, I don't talk too much about religion, but, you know, God and Jesus Christ and whatnot, they, you know, you can't put, one man's voice can't be heard by everybody, but when everyone is saying that same message, that message carries on just as if it was one person. And that's duplication. You're just duplicating someone else's vision and words, and like-minded people can come together in a co-op and really duplicate a great thing instead of a bad thing.
Well, I agree with that, and I recommend people go to look up on Google the Oklahoma Food Co-op. We should do that in every county. We should set up these co-ops, food co-ops, so that where you can get your genetically non-modified seeds and food straight from a small farm. If you live in the city, grow it in your backyard. Grow food, not grass, and sell it to your neighbors.
I would definitely not advocate for someone to do something illegal. I definitely will not tell someone to do something illegal, but I will tell you that most states have a business license, and it's called a not-for-profit agriculture plant license. You really can get a not-for-profit agriculture license to grow plants in your backyard on an agriculture level for a co-op. You and your friends can co-op for plants.
One block.
So that would be something for people to check into.
I've said my plan for Liberty Village started when I had 5 acres out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by ranches. But it's just as applicable on a city block in Fort Worth, on a city block in Denver.
Absolutely.
Grow food, not grass. Power your pumps and your lights by solar, and do it in your whole block. Make your whole block into a Liberty Village co-op, and show your neighbors.
Is wind acceptable? Do you think of wind? I mean, as far as like, you know, I'm just trying to spitball here, but instead of solar or whatever, is windmills? Is that something that is something that's possible or not?
Yes, sir. Windmills are acceptable. You can actually build these circular windmills. They almost look like kites. They don't have any blades, nothing to hurt you. And as long as the wind can spin, hell, you could build a wind generator out of 50-gallon barrels, cut them in half, weld them onto a rear axle for a wheel from an old junk car, and attach alternators to it, and guess what? You built a windmill.
That's very nice.
Yes, wind is an answer.
If ever you and I end up in a post-apocalyptic time, let's hope that I end up in your camp, because it seems like I like your ideas.
Well, I want my camp. My ideas can't be. My ideas are for all of us, folks.
Yep.
I'll help you. I'll show you. I'll give you everything I got. You give me a hand here. You order some of my buy some of my magazines, buy some of my books. Read Mystery Babylon and understand what we're facing. Mystery Babylon has the whole story of Operation Watchtower. That was George Bush setting up his drug dealer pal Manuel Noriega, covering for the Mossad's Michael Harari, who blew up 9/11. It was responsible for 9/11. The whole story is in there. It was George Bush, Ollie North, Iran Contra affair. Operation Watchtower was the top secret operation, bringing all the drugs from Panama right into a little place called Mena, Arkansas, where the governor kept the state boys off of it. And folks,
a military friend of mine was in Panama. He was actually served in Panama back in the early 90s, late 80s, and so he actually saw some of that stuff happening firsthand in some of the drug transactions that were coming out of Panama.
That's right. That was right. And Colonel Edward P. Catolo and my friend Bill Tyree, his wife was keeping a diary on it. He worked for Colonel Catolo. He's named in my book, Mystery Babylon. They killed his wife and framed him for the murder. He's doing life in Walpole Prison. Someday I'll get him out. We are taking this country
I'd like to
back.
mention this particular friend of mine, when he questioned these particular activities, at some point they dishonorably discharged him and really hurt his life when they threw him out.
That's what they do. You can't question. Clay, you could just do so much better if you wouldn't talk about the Jews, if you wouldn't talk about the Mossad, if you wouldn't talk about the banker. Sorry, I'm going to name names. I'm going to tell you who's responsible. And justice will prevail. All right, we're out of time here, Josh. I appreciate that. You got my website. Get some books. That'll give me get some of the magazines. Check that out.
Yes, sir. And I'll connect through Amy towards you. I'll connect through Amy. Amy's a real good friend of mine. We speak daily, twice, sometimes 3 times daily, and so I'll definitely be connecting with you and getting some of your information out. I'll connect with you through Facebook and whatnot for sure. I'd like to see some
I have already added you as a friend. I've got you're added as a friend on my Free American 69 website, and
thank you.
Amy introduced it, and I put you up. And you're welcome to come back on my show anytime, any way I can help. I would like to move to Colorado and work with people up there, growers or whatever. I'd be glad to handle your marketing. I'll handle your marketing. That's what I've done. And I've got an idea to do it.
I'm hoping to see you Easter weekend in Denver. I'd sure like to shake your hand up there Easter weekend. I'll definitely be in Denver for that weekend if you're going to be there.
I'll see if I can arrange it. Buy a few magazines, get a few books, order a few videos, and I'll be able to afford to do that. That's what we need to do, folks. I need your help. I need your support. You can make a donation at freeamerican.com, and whatever you can do, you'll know that you're assisting the whole effort to turn this whole police state around and grow our economy and improve your health by a few 100%. God bless you all. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. God bless you. God bless Texas, Clayton.
God bless Texas. We still remember the Alamo, and I still remember Waco.
Absolutely.
All right. God bless. Bye-bye.
Me too. Absolutely, sir. Thank you.